Hey, what's up, GabeRilla? I've seen your name already pop up there. You know what? Last time, whenever I switched to chat, it started overlapping on my screen, and it has to be a YouTube glitch. So I'm not going to change it to live chat this time. I'm going to keep it on, I think it starts off on top chat or something like that. I'm going to leave it because I'm not going to mess it up like what happened last time. Yeah, Gabe, if you want to see what I'm talking about, what happened in that live stream, I don't know if you've ever done a live stream or not. Probably you have. But if you go back and look at my last live stream, you'll see that the chat literally was stacked on top of each other. And every time I tried to switch back over, it stacked another one on top of it. So I was like 4 layers deep. It was unlegible. You couldn't read anything on it. So there is the case. I will give it a little bit of time. And did I create a post or not? Yeah, I'm going to put the live stream link in the post right now. Real quick. Maybe. The stream did not pop up. So, instead of making you guys just look at that, you can look at my ugly mug while I do this. That's how I usually roll. Yeah. Alright, let me refresh. Hey, there it is. Alright. Copy link. Huh. Well, shoot. Need a picture. It's not going to be a very good one. It's not going to let me. I got a picture of just a first-ish generation MRE. I'll use that. That will work. All right, there we go. So I have not touched the chat, and it's doing it again. I'll take a picture and show you right now. I don't understand what's going on with this. That's what the chat looks like right now. I can read this over here that says, hey, Mike, and hi, Cliff, obviously. Why did it do that? Anyway. Well, I'm going to have to read the chat off the live stream again. I'm going to go to live chat and see if, yeah, oh, that just made it worse. I knew it would. Well, I mean, I didn't know it would. I didn't think it was going to do it again. All right, I got to go into my live stream just to be able to see your guys' chat. Okay, hey, Aletha. We got Phoenix. We have Mike. Germs, Spicy Tuna Rolls, Cliff, John or Malta Magnum, GabeRilla, of course, and Phoenix. Yeah, anybody got any idea why that could be happening? Because that can't be something, I don't think that could be something that has to do with my phone. And I've seen somebody else have this issue before, and they had to restart their live stream to get their chat fixed. I think that's what I'd done the first time it happened to me, and then it was fine after that. I could restart the live stream right now, and make all you guys refind a live stream, have to go through and put all the information in again, put the thumbnail in, like have to go through the whole process again. And I know it's later than it typically is. Like I'm doing this later. I just got back home, so that is the reasoning for that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. Oh, 2 weeks in a row that you made it by, Aletha. Yeah. Hey, Miss Marilyn, how are you doing? It's good to see you here. I know it's late. I know it's late for you, especially. Which for you, I think you are an hour behind me, right? I think it's 9. It should be 9:19 for you, Miss Marilyn. I think, or maybe you're on the same time zone as I am in St. Louis. I thought St. Louis was a time zone over. But tonight we've got some really cool, interesting stuff. Gabe, which is in the chat, he was just visiting, and we spent a few days and actually I learned a lot about my own area, because I mean, it's a lot of stuff that I knew, but I'd never really put it all together at one time the way we did. And we didn't even really get it all. We just kind of did what we could walk to in one area. And it's kind of crazy how much is going on in my county, especially in the Point Pleasant area down there. The history's fascinating. And these are all things that I knew, but whenever you really put it into context and you really start looking at like how things developed and unfolded throughout the times, it's pretty fascinating. Yeah, going to Skatopia. That's something that I never even think about, like telling. I never even thought about telling Gabe about. I don't know why it didn't enter my, because I know Gabe likes to skate, because I met him at a skate park, and I knew he skated anyway, but I met him at a skate park in Chicago, and that's where I broke down when I was in Chicago 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. July of 21, I think. Had to be July of 21. But yeah, this Pleasantville, the movie. Oh, the show. Well, no, I've seen a show called Pleasantville. It was 2 years or 3. I think it was 2 years. Well, now it'd be like what? No, not even close. Really, like 2 years and 4 months, which is a long time, I guess. Doesn't seem like it seems like it's been longer ago than that, if that makes any sense. So maybe time's going by a little slower now, finally. Hey, Joe, that doesn't surprise me, honestly. I feel like I've made YouTube's ish list, if that makes any sense to you. Like, I've made their crap list. I don't think they like me very well. I've never done anything offensive, or I don't think I have done anything. Well, I mean, this has been going on ever since 2017 with me and YouTube. I battled them for about 8 months, and I gave up on it. I don't care really about that, the part of that. But what I do care about is the fact that they have more or less neutered my reach and neutered my ability to even touch my own like subscriber base. Like, I'm not even getting to them. Just like Joe just mentioned, like no notifications will come through. Even if you've got the bell ring, it doesn't matter anymore. YouTube is self-censoring itself. It's making us self-censor, and it's a whole. I feel like YouTube is self-destructing itself. YouTube is no longer YouTube. It's their tube, and they let you know that it's theirs. If you do not 100% agree with their politics and their way of doing things, then they're going to do the type of things they're doing to me. So, oh, hey, cool. Sorry about that, guys. Huh. Man, Gabe. That was the two houses down there. That's what that text was. And it was basically giving us access. Just too little too late, man. That would have been awesome. That would have really been cool. Wait till you guys see the footage and the stories that we. I feel like there's something to be proud of with this video that Gabe just put together, and all the information he did. He did a lot of research. I just gave some of the points that I already knew, and it's pretty fascinating, man. Like, I feel like there can't be that many areas that have as much going on as far as the history, and especially like the paranormal aspect of the history. This is an extremely active slash. I mean, this has been going on since the Native Americans. Like, it's in their written history. Whenever we started documenting their history, so you guys will see what I'm talking about. I mean, I've talked about it before, but we went around the town and picked up on some of the I guess, more tragic and crazy aspects of what was going on in town right there. And it's pretty good, man. It's going to be pretty good. I feel like the last time we went out there, we had a little more activity going on. I think this time we were just rushing ourselves through because it was so cold outside. I think the temperature got down to, like, I want to say like 26 or something like that. But I'm telling you right now, out there where we were at, it was colder than that. There was frost on the ground, like, as we were leaving. So it was cold. Okay, so I know, dude, that would have been fun, man. I'm gonna talk to her and talk to her about some of the stuff we talked about, and like that. Man, there's such a huge wasted opportunity right there. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know what kind of business there is in that, but like, as far as like how much revenue you could really generate with something like that, but it could be something highly lucrative. And there's really nowhere to stay on this side of the river. It's all in Ohio. So if you made a decent place to stay out of that place right there, and then you add this aspect on top of it, and then you start doing tours and stuff out of there like you were talking about. So, I mean, it could be pretty cool. All right. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. She's telling me all kinds of stories now. She said she thought, oops. Oh. She thought she replied to me the other day. She thought she texted me back, and I just didn't text her back. And then she realized that she didn't send the text, and that's why we didn't hear from her. So, all right, pull the chat up. We're going to flip this around. We're going to open this case right here, and I'm going to show you. Gabe gave me a whole basket of vintage tobacco, and he also gave me some really, really cool, interesting bottles here. This one's like super sticky, and it's somehow it's leaking. It's like leaking around the top up there, and it appears that it's like got a rubber, like, shrink wrap thing on it, or like I really don't know if I don't know if that's, surely that's not wax. No, there's a seam in it right there. I'm gonna have to go wash that one off. But it's a 1995 Brew Reserve Samuel Adams Triple Bock Ale. A Triple Bock Ale brewed with maple syrup. No wonder it's so sticky. I can't believe it stinks so bad since it's like maple syrup based. Let me go rinse this thing off because I don't even want to put it up on. It's so sticky. I don't want to put it up on the table. Just take a second. What'd it say? This is from 94, 95, somewhere in there. 95. I think this one will be probably pretty good. It's got one of those concave bottoms on it. It's actually pretty deep, and it's got some really pretty blue glass. Well, I'm sure I got a flashlight. Let me grab a flashlight. I'll show you. My good flashlight's probably dead. So I'll just grab the other one. And this is a decent flashlight. It's just the batteries in this one are about dead too. You can see how blue. I don't know. I like that blue glass. Ooh, look at the side of that bottle. Yikes. It's clean up here where there was no liquid, obviously. But in there. Huh. That's kind of weird, actually. I've never seen it spot like that. Almost like bacteria growing. That one kind of might scare me a little bit, to be honest. I've never seen it grow like that on the sides. Have you ever seen it like that, Gabe? Okay, the next one he left is a Miller High Life. Super vintage. Super chunky. Look at the sediment in the bottom of that bad boy. And this has got to be like a 6 ounce or an 8 ounce. It's a pretty small bottle. Wipe it off a little bit. 62. 1962. So this is an old one. Oh, look at that. Definitely an old one. And there's a little shorty Budweiser here. Some of the original dust on it. The label's definitely seen better days, but that is a paper label. This one is a 77. Little tiny bottles. I remember seeing those when I was a kid, when I was real young. And this is an old Milwaukee paper label. And my grandpa, my grandma were avid old Milwaukee drinkers. I don't necessarily think or know that they were fans of it. They were poor, and my grandpa would drink 2 30-packs in a day, so he had to buy whatever was cheap, I assume. And this was it. I mean, that label's worse for wear on that one too, but this one appears to be from 1952. So Gabe hooked me up with some really, really vintage bottles here. And I hate to just throw masking tape on that because I know that'll ruin it too. But if I don't do something soon, I'm going to end up losing that label. What little bit's left. I have to find some glue. There, you can see it pretty good though. That's not what it looked like when I was a kid. It had changed. I mean, they still used that color, and I can't remember if they still had silver lines in them whenever I was a kid or not, but it seems kind of like they did. And then we'll check out what vintage tobacco we got here. Gabe really hooked it up with the bottles and this vintage tobacco. Like, there's a whole basket full of it right here. Just different stuff. Which, I mean, that's Camel advertising right there. Friction tape. Still, it's cool advertising. And then, like, I want to say, I should be able to find a year on this. Okay, this is Series 125. If that is correct, then this is from 1926. And that's Durham smoking tobacco. It comes with the papers. Is this really from 1926? It ain't got much of a smell left to it, but I'll bet it does when you open it up. Wouldn't surprise me if there's some sort of plastic around that in there. I don't feel any plastic, though. Huh. Yeah, I need to do some research into that. That is really, really cool. That has got some age on it. If that's the correct date, which it very well could be, with that tax stamp on it, putting it around 1926. It's the only way preserved forever inside you. Oh, you mean the old Milwaukee label? I mean, like I said, this is all thanks to Gabe here. Look at that little teeny tiny. I didn't even see this before. What in the world? Montana 10 cigarellos. Super extra. Huh. Where are they from? Argentina, looks like. It appears like these came from Argentina. Not seeing any dates popping out at me right yet, but there's an interesting tax stamp going down through that side right there. All these warrant some research, because this is actually inside of a little plastic packaging, is what it appears like. I mean, it's taped on the top here, but it looks like it's got like a piece of plastic around it, preserving maybe in its original cellophane underneath there, is what it's kind of looking like. So that's super cool. Those things are tiny, man. Here, I'll pull out my regular pack of smokes here, which these are 100s, out of my pocket, but look at the size difference. Thickness too. I mean, I get that's only 10, but at the same time, like, those are tiny. I don't think I've ever seen a pack like that before. And Delicious has sent me some amazing packs from overseas, and that's where some of these are from as well. Which I haven't even really got to look at these yet. Me and Gabe and cameraman have been busy. Let's see. Republic de Cuba. Huh. So these are Cuban. These appear to be Cuban. Imported maybe, or maybe these were just sold in Cuba. Looks like there's 16 of them in there, according to the label, to the tax stamp. Eden. Super fines. Huh. I can't smell anything coming off that one either. I need to put these in a humidor and let them set for a few days. This one's also covered with a plastic cover. I don't know if the cigarettes are in there. That might have like a block of wood or something in it. Well, yeah, I don't know. That doesn't feel right. Which means this one's probably... No, this one feels like it's got... This has actually got the smokes in it. This one, I don't think does. I don't hear the tobacco in there or anything like that. Still a super cool pack of 20. Wait a minute. Why does it say 60 count? It's not gonna fit. There, you can see it. Right? BNL. Amsterdam. So these were imported to or from Amsterdam. I'm not sure on that. I'm not familiar with that type of tax stamp. Some Monte Carlos. These are also cigarellos. This reminds me of early Marlboro packs, the way that cursive writing goes across this white pack like this, except well, I mean, I think they might have done a yellow one as well. I know they did a white with a red on it like this, but that is another interesting pack. Now that, I can hear the tobacco crunching inside. So that one, yeah, and you can see the outline of each cigarette in there as well. There we go. Okay. Sakti. Not even going to try to say that. Klunkug. These are most certainly foreign, and judging by the way this looks, there's probably been some weevils get at this pack. If we look, we'll probably find a little pinhole somewhere. Although I'm not seeing one. I mean, all that right there is just where the stems of the tobacco has kind of poked little tiny holes through there. I don't know. Those are super interesting as well. And those are most certainly in there. Whoops. Here, I'll prop them up back here. Some Sudan. 20, again, it says cigarillos. Which I assume maybe that's just how they say cigarettes. I want to take that tape and stuff off of there so I can see what's going on with that tax stamp. That might have a year right on it. Very well could, because this is they've been packaged up, and honestly that saved them probably. Whoever put the plastic on these probably saved them. And these look to be, if I was to take a rough guess, I would say these are from anywhere from the 30s to the late 40s, early 50s at the latest. Look how fine that tobacco is inside of there. That also looks like weevils have gotten at it. It's very possible that they could have got in there. If weevils get it, it's you can't smoke them, but they're still great for display. Rosagler. That's how I would say that. Rosagler. It's got a pretty little rose on it. A little building right there. This is also, these feel like they're in there as well. The top looks the same as the bottom, more or less. Huh, I don't even see any type of tax stamp on that or anything. It's possible someone, well, yeah, it's possible someone could have taken it off at some point throughout its past. Some tip top, some tobacco aromatico. Some aromatic tobacco. Huh. I don't know. Again, with the foreign tobacco, I there's so much information out there that's halfway accurate, and some of it's inaccurate, and some of it's accurate. Now, this pack was manufactured by Benson and Hedges in Canada. Montreal. There's links to my Canadian buddies right at the, well, right underneath Gabe's link at the top of the description here. Fortuna, go subscribe to all of their channels. Everybody in my description is worth subscribing to. Wow, that's heavy. Super heavy. Okay, that is definitely not. Yeah, that's a block of wood. Still a cool pack though. 1959. I've never seen a pack like this before. That needs fixed as well. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. Bison. I'm sure they're bisons. Filtered. And Brianna said there was a, oh, right here, cork tip. Herbert Tarrington. Wait, Tarrington? Tareyton. Tarrington, I guess. Almost a Monopoly guy on the side, except he's got a monocle. These are probably in there, but they have seen some water over the years. Those ones will be impossible to get out of the pack. That is definitely a wooden pack for sure. And then we got some B&W. All these are papers. Oh, wow. Look at that. And they're still nice and loose. Most of the cellophane's still around them, except right there. Well, and right down here, I guess. It's around the outside, though. These look probably pretty old. There's no... Oh, that's a bunch of packs of papers, is what that is. There's 1, 2... It's probably like a 10-pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 packs of papers in there. 8 times 25. Huh. Cool. Let me pull the chat back up here. James says cigarettes in Canada right now are $17 a pack. They're running about 6 something down here, roughly. I'm really intrigued by these. I halfway want to open these, but I want to know more about these before I open those. Those ones are probably really... A lot of these are really old. There's some real vintage stuff going on. Number 10. There's probably a date on this tax stamp somewhere if I can figure out how to decipher it. I'll bet I'd never be able to find anything about those. That's got a cool tax stamp on them, too. Is that a date? Almost looks like a date right there. Let's see, use the camera. I can't tell. Huh. Oh. All right. Well, it's time to dig into this MRE case back here. Let's set these off to the side for right now. And let's take a look inside of this case of 1984 MREs. That thing's already started leaking. It's been standing upright the whole time. Started leaking again. Weird. Must be under pressure. Huh. Ooh, you know what? That does smell like maple syrup. Like, it really does have a strong maple scent. There we go. And I'm going to put the shorty right here. All right. Zoom out. Is that zoomed out? Really? Huh. Well, crap. And for some reason, the live stream keeps kicking off to where I can't see. It's Phoenix. Everything about the history says that the Monopoly man didn't have a monocle, right? But I remember him having a monocle. Of course, that's a Mandela effect. So, you know, are we living in a simulation? Are we living... has everything kind of changed and reset since they started screwing with that Hadron Collider? I don't know. I think it's possible. All right, pop the outer sleeve off. There we go. And we'll lay it down right here. There we go. There's a look inside the full case of 1984 MREs. Gabe said that he opened the flaps up and looked at them, and that was it. So, before we go any further with these, let me see if it's on this sleeve. I think it is. There's something written, or there's a sticker. Okay, right here. Right here. See, the sticker's starting to come off, too, for some reason. It wasn't like that. This product has been held under controlled temperatures and humidity conditions and should not be considered overage because of the date of the pack. And the date of the pack should not be the controlling factor in determining assurance and utilization of the product. Further refrigeration is not required. So these things were held in cold storage or freezers, refrigerators, something, until they left the military's control. And then over here, you've got some of your information, your box information. You're guaranteed. But right there, 3 of 1984 is whenever this particular box, I assume, was produced. But I think these are June of 84. And let me go ahead and flip this over too. These are, well, made by Southern Packaging and Storage Company out of Mullins, South Carolina. Weighed 16 pounds. And there's all the lot numbers and whatnot. I think that takes care of the box. Yep, we've looked at everything on the box. Except, let me flip it around. Oh, there's another sticker right there. Huh. Same sticker, right? Yep. So Gabe gave me 2 cases, and the other case has a cold storage mention on it as well. Let me grab it real quick and show you. So I was looking at these, Gabe, and I think these might be, I don't know. They kind of seem like they might be, they're either 85s or 86s. I assume that they're 86s, the 72nd day of 86. So they were produced, no, 5/18 wouldn't be right. I don't know what that date is on top right there. Lot number, I guess. I mean, that's the way it's described here. Lot number should be on top. Date packed should be here. Inspection and test date is here. So March, which that would put, this is correct. That's March. So 1986 is what these are. Ha. It should be over here, I think. Yep, right there. Right here. So on this, it says shelf life extended to 5 of 1991, which is adding 2 years, 2 years and 2 months to this case that I'm going to assume that they kept them in controlled cold storage. And I don't think I've ever seen that stamp like that on a case that I can recall. I've had some pretty weird cases, kind of similar with the longer, or the refrigerated stamp on it, or sticker on it. But I've never seen that particular stamp before. All right, let's get into this case. Get it just right. All right. We will start right here. Yeah, I don't even think Gabe pulled these out of here. They feel like they're still factory packed. Menu number 4. beef slices with barbecue sauce. Is there a date stamp on these or no? Looks like there is not. Nope. That's menu number 4. We've got menu number 2, ham and chicken loaf. Yum. Yum, yum, yum. Wait, am I doing that wrong? No, I'm doing it right. Or we'll go like this. Number 3 pulled out of here is menu number 7, turkey diced with gravy. And Gabe kept these in a storage unit, he said, so they haven't been stored the greatest. That's what he said over the past at least few years. So menu number 11 is ham slice. It's got accessory packet A with it. And we have menu number 1, pork patty, dehydrated. That comes with accessory packet D, which I do believe has got the ketchup, if I'm not mistaken. So this generation of MREs, I would argue, is the most important generation of MREs ever. One of the most important developments in food outside of the canning process. I think this was the next major leap that has really brought us into the modern food era. I mean, there's a lot of technology wrapped up in these MREs that we use all the time that people have no idea. They don't realize that it's military based. Okay, menu number 3 is beef patty dehydrated. Bean component, not for pre-flight or flight use. Accessory packet B. So there's a lot of text on this one compared to a lot of the other ones. So since this has beans in it, they suggest that you do not use this before getting on a flight or on the flight, because they would use these as in-flight meals. They stopped making in-flight meals and just started handing out MREs. All right, next up we've got, menu number 11. That's 2 ham slices, right? Menu 7. Wait. Yep, there's a menu 11. Oh, this is a Right Away Foods right here. Weird. Huh. That's strange. All right, well, let's keep going here. I think this is the next one, right? Beef patty. Next up, we have turkey diced with gravy. I think we already had turkey diced with gravy. I guess I could lay them all out. They're really difficult to get back in if you don't put them right back in. And another ham slice. Also Right Away Foods. So somebody didn't like ham slices and swapped them out with these cases. And I am perfectly fine with that. The ham slice holds up. I mean, typically it holds up. And here we have Frankfurters. Menu number 6. Again, not for pre-flight or flight use. And this has accessory packet E, which that might be the ketchup. Or also have the ketchup? Maybe? For some reason, I thought this one had it too. Could be wrong. Looks like we got 2 more. Oh, look there. Another pork patty. I think that's the second pork patty. Dude, this is an awesome case. This is awesome. Look at that. Another pork patty. Holy cow. That is, Gabe, this is awesome, dude. These are the good ones. Like, the pork patty's a good one. Beef patty's good because it'll hold up. Ham slice is typically good because it typically holds up. I guess because of all the salt in it, maybe. And ham just inherently stores well. But, I mean, these being first generations is still a crapshoot 50-50. But, with having all these dehydrated pork patties, man, that's tempting to open one of them up. Or a ham slice. Let's do a ham slice. We'll get a good read on the condition. The Right Away Foods ham slice. Awesome. Heck yeah. If nothing else, you know that they're going to have some good crackers up in here. Nothing else. Alright, let me set this case out of the way. Well, you know what? Let me ask you guys and ask Gabe what you'd like to see. Because, there we go. Hey, don't forget to hit that heart, whatever that means, and hit the thumbs up or down or whatever, if that's still a thing. It's been a while since I've watched a live stream on YouTube, I guess. There we go. Can I hit the heart? Oh, I can. On my own live stream. Interesting. All right, let me look at the chat. Heck yeah, man. I like any old food, Gabe. I appreciate it, man. What happens if you hit the heart a bunch? What does it? I have no clue. Let me look. Well, I mean, all I can see is the hearts flying across the screen when you guys hit them. I can't see who they're coming from as far as I can tell. Let me look again here. Get back into the live chat. Now, here, I'll show you guys what I see. That'd be the easiest thing to do. If I can get that to go down. So, it does it like that, and then I also see them up here on the screen. And then it'll also allow me to do it. And the smiley faces and the little party favor thing. And I 100. Keeping it 100. Yeah, I haven't got a clue what that does, man. Not a clue. It's just something good. They're trying to keep up with TikTok, and they're doing a horrible job at it. But yeah, if you guys would prefer to see a different meal other than a ham slice with, that one happens to have accessory packet A, probably the most boring accessory packet out of everything. But there was no Tabasco in them or anything cool like that back in the day. Not in 1984. Ah, the blushing face. See, when I hit it myself, it looks like it's got like a dark ring around it. And when you guys hit it, it does not have a ring around it. I don't understand why I don't understand why I can do it on my own. I don't know why I can do it on my own. See how it's got like a circle around it? And see how that one didn't? See? I don't know what the difference is. I don't know what it matters. It's just kind of silly. This stream is so lewd. Hopefully they're not too horrible, dude. Hopefully they're not too horrible. Let's find out. I'm just going to cut this one open. We're going to just go with the ham slice since we got 3 or 4 of them. And I think we got 3 ham slices and 3 of the pork patties. And then there was just random meals in the other ones. I could pull them all out, and we could check. Why not? Let's just do it real quick. All right. There's a ham slice. Turkey diced with gravy. I think we got 2 of those. There's the Frankfurters. There's a pork patty. Goes. I'm going to stand them up back here. Pork patty. Pork patty. Let's just see what menus we actually got here. This one is beef patty. So we don't have one of them yet. I'll put it over here in the corner. Pork patty, number 3. The pork patty is probably edible, most likely. It's like a freeze-dried pork patty. Turkey diced with gravy. I'll put that down here. There's another ham slice, so number 3. We've got a ham and chicken loaf. And a beef slices with barbecue. So we got a beef slices with barbecue, a ham and chicken loaf. That's got a nut cake in it. I could feel it. We have a Frankfurters. It's probably one of the larger meals back in the day, actually. This plastic's in pretty good shape, by the way. The bags. Turkey diced with gravy. Oh, we got 2 turkey diced with gravy. I mean, that one, turkey diced with gravy, be one to find out, like, how bad they are, really. Like, if we think they're going to be bad, turkey diced with gravy usually doesn't hold up that well. Ham slice, I think has cheese spread in it. I can't remember. Cannot remember. I think that's the one. So we got 2 right-of-ways and 1 Southern packaging. I think this is probably the one that was supposed to be in there. And then we got the 3 pork patties right here. Yeah, this is awesome, dude. Super cool. Both those have accessory packet A, right? Yeah. All right, let's get this bad boy opened up and find out. Did anybody change the menu or something? Do the Frankfurters? Frank and Beans? Frank and Beans. Believe it or not, I think I just saw that episode of The Office, like when Jim and Pam went on their honeymoon and they came back, and they I don't know, they were saying Frank and Beans. Anyway, all right, let me find the Frankfurters for you. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Is that it? Nope. Beef patty. Ham slice. There we go. There we go. And these are probably original to the case since they're Southern Packaging and Storage Company. Menu number 6. Menu number 6, Frankfurters. Now, these are the era before they switched over to the ones that I really like, which I had about 3 weeks ago. The one that LC sent me, which I did all the different varieties and did them like hot dogs. I put them on buns and I put toppings on them like sauce and coleslaw and pickles and all kinds of stuff. Mustard, mayonnaise, you name it. I decked them out. Like all kinds of crazy looking hot dogs I had up there. And actually looked really good on the screen. Like I had them all 4 made up at the same time. And they look pretty good. We're about to find out though. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is... I can't remember what year the Four Fingers of Death one that Steve done that he labeled the Four Fingers of Death on his channel. It seems to me like he did a newer one than this. Could be wrong. Here we go. Ooh, that smells interesting in there. Okay, so I think that's all I was really smelling was that nice, clean, fresh plastic. But it kind of smelled like a It kind of smelled like a basement, really. I mean, it had a twist of basement to it. All right, let's see what's all in this, because I don't remember what's in the 84. All right, first we've got a super cool looking accessory packet. I mean, this is straight up MCI type of accessory packet that has coffee, cream substitute, sugar, candy, ketchup, salt, chewing gum, matches, and paper toilet paper toilet. Paper toilet. Next up we've got, nice, whoa, those aren't sealed. I think I've only ever had this happen one other time, that the crackers weren't sealed properly. Those might be extremely interesting. We will see. And here is our beef frankfurters. What? Hold up. There's no way. I mean, there is a way. That's a weird stamp on there. Maybe there's a different date stamped on the inside. That's not making sense to me. Huh. Distributed by Green Giant Company. LeSource, Maine? Minnesota? Minnesota. Right? Maine is ME. That's Minnesota. Green Giant. That makes like canned vegetables and stuff, right? That's so weird. Huh. And here's our beans with tomato sauce. Oh, hang on. Let me go turn my water on. I ain't got my boiled water turned on. Totally forgot. Come in here and get this stuff off the stove and stuff. Clean it up. If you want, if you're done eating. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Totally forgot to get my water started. Okay, let's look at these beans for a second, because there we go. Beans were made on the 156th day of 1984. How's that possible? Because weren't these cased up before then? Hold up. I'm almost positive they were. Nope, never mind. June of 1984 is when these were boxed up, so that'd be about right. I mean, that'd be like probably like March or April, maybe, or maybe May. Maybe May. Okay. What else we got in here? we have, here's our straight up MCI style spoon, early MRE spoon. Really nice spoons, actually. They're super durable. They last forever. If you clean them and just take care of them, like a spoon like that will last you forever. And here we have a cocoa beverage powder that actually still feels perfect. Completely different tone of brown than the other packaging. And we have a grape jelly. Nice. I figured there's no peanut butter or cheese spread. So, let's see. What happened at the fairgrounds? What mechanically separated? Okay. Sucks not having my chat on the screen, man. It really does. Having to stop and look at this phone, and the text is so small. If I turn it sideways, yeah, it's even worse. It does that split side by side number instead of putting it on the screen. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like it that way. I already had it turned on. Hi. All right. Well, let's take a look inside the accessory packet while I'm waiting on the hot water to heat up, since I forgot to turn it on. Huh? Would the microwave be better? No. You can't microwave this stuff. All right. Stick my nose in there. Oh, no. No. That doesn't smell like a good accessory packet. Dang it. Oh. I know exactly what that smells like, though. And I'm sure if you know what I mean, you can already see what the culprit is. It's the quote-unquote candy. All right, let's take a look at this. First out, we have our 7 grams of dehydrated ketchup. And it feels perfect somehow. Being in the package with what's in there, I'm super surprised that this is not a solid block of nothing. Well, a solid block of what used to be powdered ketchup. But made by Transpacker Services out of Brooklyn, New York. Dehydrated ketchup, 7 grams. Use dry or reconstitute in the envelope by adding 2 teaspoons of water into this pack. You just barely rip off the top right there, and then you can try to get 2 tablespoons of water in there, or teaspoons of water in there. Good luck with that. Look at their zip code, 11222. Huh. Nice. Real nice. Since that's good, I mean, that packet of dehydrated ketchup right there is worth $10. All day long. Ooh. That's probably worth $5 or $10. Nice. Beautiful looking pack of coffee instant with ascorbic acid. 2.2, it's got the 2.2 grams net. Directions are to dissolve in a third of a canteen, so it's 8 fluid ounces. Made by Right Away. Yeah, that's also really nice. Gabe, this is actually, so far, is in pretty good shape, man. Next up, we have cream substitute dry non-dairy. Also, it's maybe a little tiny bit chunky, but maybe not. I think it's okay. I mean, it might be funky, but it's still powder. Which, that creamer goes hard a lot also. And here we have our matches, which are made by D.D. Bean and Sons, of course, out of North Carolina. North Carolina. And these are strike on back, white tip, black matches. A little bit of a lopsided pack, as you can see, but surely functional just the same. And we have 6 grams of sugar, made by Amstar Corporation. That feels perfect as well. We got some Chiclets gum. I mean, it doesn't look too awful bad. It's a little faded, but honestly, I've seen it way, way worse. The cellophane on it is still nice and clear, looking good. A lot of times you'll see that yellowing and on its way out, especially when it's in a package with what's in this. And here is our United States issued butt ration, or your napkin, or Kleenex, whatever you need it for. And it's the blue kind, the blue variety. I don't know why they ever went with this blue variety. I'd kind of like to know. I'd like to find out what that silly little fact has to be. There has to be some weird reason why they turned the toilet paper blue. It just seems like such an odd thing to me now. I'm sure that's Tufco, right? Yeah, Tufco. You can barely see it on there. Tufco. Tufco. And we have our Stickney and Pour out of Chelmsford, Massachusetts. Iodized salt. Should be 4 grams, I believe. Doesn't say on here, but I'm pretty sure that's 4 grams. It's about what it feels like. And last but certainly not least, we have a chocolate fudge made by Wayne Candies Incorporated out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Looks like somebody wrote on it with an ink pen. It's either a 7 or a 6. I'm not sure which. But that's definitely an ink pen, right? Somebody wrote on it with an ink pen. That's what it looks like to me. And I've seen these way worse than this. I mean, it looks like it's a bit greasy inside of there. And there's certainly some discoloration going on right here. But, I mean, for a fudge bar that is, how old is this? 84, almost 40 years old. Almost. So next year, next June, this will be 40 years old. That is not bad. But it smells like... It's got a really pungent, like, chemical odor that just is... It's really unpleasant. It's hard to describe exactly what this smells like. It does have this industrial chemical type smell to it. And if you look at the ingredients list on it, it's rather large, especially for back in this time. I'll see if I can read that. It says sugar, partially hydrogenated vegetable oil, may contain some of the following oils: palm kernel, coconut, cottonseed, palm soybean, and then we got corn syrup, non-fat milk solid, sorbitol, chocolate, liquor, cocoa, salt polysorbate, 60, and sorbitan monosterate, and lectin. And then I can't see, that's emulsifiers, okay. Artificial vanilla flavor, and we got egg, something album tapioca, flour, BHA, and BHT are quote-unquote preservatives. Let me zoom in on this. There you go. Now you guys can kind of see there. I can see it way better in the camera than I could with my eyeballs with that chocolate behind it. But you can kind of see there's some discoloration. Looks like it's going on. Maybe not. We'll take a look at it here in a second. But it looks like it's real dark right in here. And I've seen that happen with them before. I would be shocked if this is edible. If this is edible, I would be shocked. All right. I ain't got it ready. No. I'm bringing it in there in a second. Okay, let's get these beans opened up. So this is glued in. Why they ever done that, I don't know. Because these boxes are already so tight that they couldn't move around in there anyways. Like there's legitimately, the flaps are touching the end. So it couldn't move anyway. But they decided that they needed to glue it in there. Yeah. And these old style retort pouches have this weird design in it printed on there. Beans with tomato sauce. All right. Some nice vintage boxes. Now these ones are super glued. Like really lots. Look at the glue hanging out of the end of that. You pretty much just, that glue ain't going to come apart. You just got to rip through it. And wow, did they glue this one in. Look at that. Glue all down through there. Good Lord. Well, there they are. Not very vacuum sealed at all. Nice loose packaging. Hopefully the crackers have been sealed, just not vacuum packed. That's my hope, that they're still edible. All right, I'm going to go through these glue covered monstrosities into the boiling water, and I will be right back. Actually, let me take some water. I'll heat some water up while I'm in here too for the coffee and the cocoa beverage powder. Let's find out if the crackers have made it. All right, we got coffee, creamer, sugar. Put that together. Cocoa beverage powder. There's not much to this, actually. I mean, the old ones, they really packed the calories inside of a small meal, really. It was a lot easier to eat because it was just less bulk and the calories were still there. They just made it in less items. Did Did I not start that microwave? Heat that water up? Yeah, I got it going. Alright, I thought I didn't. I haven't seen Dan up in the chat yet. Let me text Dan. He's probably asleep. He's... Okay. Yeah, this quite possibly could be very, very, very bad for consumption. I mean, it could be very unsuitable for human consumption. We will find out, though. Here's our chocolate fudge. Switch sides with the grape jelly. Let's take a look at these crackers real quick and find out. There's going to be no hiss with these, so... Good Lord. That packaging is not wanting to tear. I don't know. Let me give it a smell. Nope. Wow. Those are so far gone. Good Lord. Those are the worst crackers I've ever smelled. I mean, by a long shot. We got to at least take a look at it, one of them. I mean, these should have salt all over, like the outside of them. We should see salt. I mean, I see it along the edges. But I do believe that the grease and oils that have been able to vacate because of the degradation process have kind of just liquefied the salt that was on the outside of these. And as you can see there, crackers from back in this era, they don't break. Typically, they don't break. You'll get them and they'll be in perfect condition. Both crackers come out fully. These, on the other hand, they're falling apart. And they're not even a little bit edible. I wouldn't even try these. Oh my goodness. The smell smells like it's got a real hint of paint thinner to it. A real strong hint of paint thinner. It's kind of a crayon / paint thinner. Horrible, horrible smell. I think I got another vintage pack of crackers right here somewhere. Let me look. I think I got a brown bag pack of crackers. Yeah, I don't know what year they are, but I got a pack. I just found them the other day, as a matter of fact. Oops. All right. I'm going to get this stuff out of the boiling water before it sets in there too long. Ethan, can you do renew the outside cat's water. I forgot to do it. It's sitting right here by the back door. Brought it in hours ago. All right. So, while I was in there, I was kind of thinking about how similar this pack of Four Fingers of Death was to the crackers, how loosely packaged they were. This is probably going to be kind of interesting to open up. I don't know that I'm going to be able to eat it, but it'll still be cool to look at. I'll set these off to the side real quick. And let's make some coffee. Look at that. Looks perfect. The heck? There we go. That looks like it's brand new. This is exactly what it looked like 40 years ago when they packaged it. And it smells amazing. Oh, man. I wish I could buy that. I wish I could buy some instant coffee that smelled and tasted exactly like this. All right, well, here's a big test. Let's find out if the cream substitute dry non-dairy is held up. I don't know about this one. Huh. I'll be daggone. Look at that. Perfection. It's going in. Look at that. Nice. Really good. And the sugar, of course. We know it made it. I mean, it's considerably whiter. Obviously, it's been bleached than the creamer, but the creamer, it's just slightly yellow, which is really normal. That's what it should look like. All right. Add some water to this bad boy. That's looking pretty amazing. Next up, we got our cocoa beverage powder. We're going to find out if it's any good real quick. Cut it open the same way. That looks perfect. And give it a... Oh, yeah, it smells really good. Oops. More than I wanted. Try that again. I'm going to try just the powder first. little bit salty. Chocolatey. You cannot buy anything that tastes exactly like this. The vintage cocoa beverage powders are the best by a long shot. Really the best, like, hot cocoa I've ever had. It comes out of the vintage Rations. All right. I'll fill this up. Hey, Investories here. Hello, hello. All right, let's give it the water. It's a lot of powder too. There's a lot less powder to the newer cocoa beverage powders, the ones that come in the Mylar packs that you can drink out of, that are kind of like a cup shaped or bottle shaped. I don't know if I got an MCI spoon open here already or not. I should have. I'm sure I do. Just got to dig for it. I don't know. No point in opening a new one. Oh, there we go. MCI spoon. Well, that's probably actually an MCI spoon. Might be an MRE spoon. I'll add this one to the collection. I should have sent some of these spoons home with you too, Gabe. All right, we'll slide them back there out of the way, and we're going to open up a pack of crackers that are properly sealed, that are from probably 92 would be my bet on these. So these are 8 years newer than those. These won't have the salt on them. I ain't got very many of those packs in standby. You look at the huge difference in color between the two, and just style as well. The way the crackers themselves look. I mean, see the difference. Definitely different. I mean, these things just smell like, oh, man. They're so rancid. Those crackers are beyond rancid, which makes me kind of want to taste one. I really just want to try it. I mean, I know it's going to be horrible. I'm not dumb. I just want to know how bad it is. Let's give it a nibble. You know, why not? It's got it has such a strong scent that it kind of messes with your eyes and with your sinus cavities. It's a wafting type of odor. I mean, I'm just taking a nibble just to see. That's really bitter. It has a acidic quality to it. I took a much larger bite than I wanted. Oh, it's got a sting to it too. It's Not making my tongue numb. It's burning my tongue. It's like eating a cracker made out of Play-Doh that's been painted with latex paint. It's kind of the flavor that you get, and kind of probably what it would be like. I don't know what that would be like to have in your mouth, but it wouldn't be pleasant. This is not pleasant. I was just curious about if it tasted the way it smells, and it kind of doesn't. It kind of does. It's weird. And it's salty, but I got that edge where the salt was still around the outside. It's weird. Really weird. That's hands down the worst MRE crackers I've ever had. Real mixed bag with this one so far. I mean, some of this stuff is in, so far, has been in really, really nice condition. I'm taking a sip of that coffee. Trying to get that out of my mouth. Wow. That is amazing. Just the perfect amount of sweetness and creamer. That old creamer, when it's good, it's really good. It's real subtle, but it's at the same time, it's a powerful additive to the whole overall flavor. That's a nice cup of coffee. In my opinion, that's better than anything that I could go buy at a store. I don't know if I could make something that is even that good with the products available to me today. I haven't had anything that I don't like Starbucks. I tend to, everything Starbucks that I've tried, I tend to not like. Some of their sweet drink stuff that you drink cold is okay, but I mean, it's not as good as this. This is way better. All right, let's take a look at the Frankfurters. And like I said, with this loose packaging, let's get the beans out first, and then we'll do the Franks. All right, where's the tear notches on the top, or the other side, obviously. It's never on the side that I want it to be on. All right, we got definite delamination going on, which is 100% normal. There was no delamination until I heated it up, so not really a problem. It's normal for it to happen whenever they're exposed to that heat. Okay, that smells good. I mean, it smells like ketchup. It smells like beans in ketchup. It's got a very ketchup-y quality to it, the scent. Ooh, that is hot, 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 hot. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Well, there's the beans, which, I mean, I probably crushed that one a little bit. That's why it looks like that whenever I was squeezing them out, but they don't look bad. Those don't look bad at all. They smell good, too. I mean, they do just smell like ketchup, but still. Like slightly, I guess, a little bit like barbecue. They smell sweet a little bit. These, on the other hand, again, I have my concerns with how loose they are, which is typically not a good sign. And it wouldn't have been because of the way they were stored. It would have been they were packaged this way. They weren't packaged properly. And they would have been okay, most likely, for the first couple, 2-3 years. And then I would say even then they might have had issues. But not looking too awful bad right there. Let me give it a smell. Oh, Lord. Oh, no. I hesitate to even tell you what I think that smells like, but I'm going to tell you anyway. It smells like poop. They smell like poop. They got a real turd quality to them. They do not smell normal, Tim. They smell beyond funky. I don't even know how to describe that smell. Like, what is, I mean, there's a beef scent to it, but... And I'm picking up on the smoke, too, if you want to know the food sense to it. I don't even want to put that in my mouth. Man. That's a dilemma. That is a dilemma in my head. Do I do it or not? They sound delicious, Gabe says. I mean, they do look perfectly normal. They just look like 4 little hot dogs in there. But they don't smell. They do not smell right. Obviously, I can still smell the beef in the smoke. There's a ton of added fake smoke scent in there, or whatever they done with these, probably fake smoke. But there's also this rotten meat, I guess is what it... I guess is what that smell is. I'm surprised they don't look different. I don't understand why that is, outside of the level of salt and preservatives that are contained in here. You know, I don't know. But they do not smell right by a long shot. That being said, I do feel obligated to at least try it. And maybe it'll be different than I think. Oh, man. Oh, they just fall apart. I gotta turn the camera around so you can see. As soon as I stuck the spoon in it, it fell apart. These are the soft kind, so they did seem to be extra soft, though. I mean, I don't know. Hot dogs don't look like food to start with, really. They got that way overly processed. I mean, that's how they're made. They're just extremely processed meat stuffs, you know, types and chunks and bits and bobs and pieces that make these things up anyway to start with. And then, so it's probably a little larger of a bite than I really wanted. It really, man, that smell is just, I can't get over how weird that is and how off-putting it is. I mean, down the hatch. It tastes exactly like it smells. No. That's a hard no. What the? I mean, it ain't straight up like that, but it's close. I mean, it's got like this lingering effect or lingering scent. Yeah, there's something definitely wrong with those. Man, I can't believe that. it's so weird. I've never smelt anything like that come out of an MRE. And it has to be just where that package was not sealed properly to start with. It didn't have any pinholes in it or anything like that. It just wasn't sealed properly to begin with, sealed with air inside of it, I guess, which caused it to be off. Same with the crackers. I doubt they had any pinholes in them either. It didn't appear to. It just appeared like they got sealed with too much air in them. They didn't get vacuum sealed like they were supposed to. So, yeah. I mean, I don't even know if you could pay me to eat those again. That's an experience. It's super weird. I don't even know how to go further than what I've already told you. So just kind of try to envision that for yourself, I guess. These are kind of getting like that, you know how whenever you put baked beans out and they get that stiff on the outside, like hard looking. But these were like super hot and more runny looking. They're very sticky. Now these, I'm not afraid of these. These smell good. They look good. Let's find out if they taste good. Hey, K-Man's here. Hey, buddy. Tim said get the whiskey out. No doubt. Rinse that out of my mouth. Okay, even these are a little bit weird. Honestly, I think that I'd left him to boil just about 2 or 3 minutes too long. I didn't time it perfectly. These should have only boiled about 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes. Just got to really heat them up. I mean, everything's already cooked. You just got to get it hot. So if you leave it in there longer than 2 or 3 minutes, you're just wasting your time and making it making your food potentially worse than it should be, or than it would be if you just got it up to temperature. There is a very strange aftertaste to these, but as far as the beans go, I mean, these are straight up chili beans. It's kind of a mix between ketchup and barbecue sauce. It tastes a lot like ketchup, but it has a little bit of a sweetness to it and I don't know what else. A little nutmeg maybe. But it's got this bitter follow-up, which I find off-putting, and a slight metallic flavor to it. I could eat those. Get a piece of this 8-year newer cracker here. I mean, I think dipping your cracker in the beans like this would be probably pretty typical practice and wouldn't taste too bad. I'll give it a try. Well, that helped a lot. Totally changed the flavor, obviously. But that malted barley in those really balanced it out. And I don't get any of that metallic follow-up either. Not bad. Not bad at all. Rinse that down with some coffee here. Let me look at the chat for a second. About to have some exotic farts tonight. The 4 Fingers of Death tonight are living up to their name. You are correct. K-Man said, or MRE Info on here, which is K-Man, said the 4 Fingers of Death are living up to their name. Yeah, kind of a pseudo baked bean kind of deal. Yeah. The bean scene from Blazing Saddles. I don't remember the bean scene from Blazing Saddles. Hint of botulism and a tinge of lead. Yeah, there's a lot going on with this right here, I tell you. Like, I mean, I don't even like to smell it. Just the smell of that is, I mean, it's extremely off-putting. I wish you were here to smell these. We should have done this before you left. We should have done something like this before you left. But somehow the crackers are able to cancel out any of the negative flavors that these beans got going on, which they're not bad. I'm not, like, these aren't that bad. They just have a little bit of a weird, bitter, follow-up metallic. You know, there's a little slight hint of metallicness to it. But the cracker cancels it out. Makes them taste normal. I'll tell you what, Gabe, so far, I mean, the stuff's pretty good shape, other than the stuff that wasn't sealed properly. Which is not, you know, again, that's not to blame on storage conditions. That's to blame on the original packaging process. Quality control, really. They should have caught that. Let's find out how this grape jelly's looking. I have yet to encounter a jelly or a peanut butter that I wouldn't eat out of a ration. It is yet to happen. Wait a second. Outside of the canned ones, maybe. There's been some canned ones. If they were compromised, then they got unedible, inedible, whatever. It's very, very liquid, very runny. Ooh, easy. There we go. It doesn't have the greatest color to it. It's definitely a brown, and it's leaking on my hand. All right, here we go. Down the hatch. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, looking all over the place. It tastes perfect. I mean, with the grape jelly is not very flavorful. It's kind of, it's just like a, you know, a sweet, neutral jelly. You don't get much flavor from the grape jelly at all. Where it's so runny, it's hard to get a decent amount on there. All right. That's good. It's got a great flavor to it, really. There's nothing off about it at all. Slightly tangy. I mean, just slightly tangy. It's got a very slight grape flavor, I would say. I mean, it's there, but it's not strong. The sweetness is nice. Yeah, it makes for a really nice snack with the crackers. That is not bad. Not bad at all. It is time to check out the this cocoa beverage powder. It's got a nice little frothy head on it there. John, yeah, it's definitely an MRE. That's for sure. For sure. All right, here we go. Checking out this. That's like heaven. It's so smooth and creamy and chocolatey. It's perfect. It's a perfect hot cocoa. The cocoa beverage powder is a home run. It's the perfect amount of sweetness too for a cocoa beverage powder. Followed up with that coffee. The tannins in this coffee is like perfectly balanced for my palate. Now, the way I describe coffee and cocoa beverage powder may be different to your palate. Your palate, it's, we're all conditioned differently, based on where we live, where we grew up, the foods we ate when we were little. Everybody's flavor palette is typically different. I mean, a lot of times we can have a lot of things in common. If I describe something to you and you try it, you might get exactly this or a very similar type of account of what I describe. But I might eat something and describe it to you and it be completely different than the experience you have with it. It just depends. What about a Discord? Yeah, all the vintage jellies lose flavor. I think grape does better than the apple because I think they only made the two types at this time was apple and grape. I don't think they had strawberry in until sometime in the 90s. I could be wrong about that. It might. I don't think I've ever seen one in a vintage type style packaging like this. I don't think strawberry started until sometime in the 90s. It might even been in the 2000s for all I know. I don't know when grape jelly started. Does anybody in the chat right now happen to know when strawberry jelly started in MREs and rations or whatever? Excuse me. Well, we're down to this. I mean, it looks good in there, doesn't it? It doesn't really smell much right now. It's like a lot of the odor has leached off of it since it's been outside, been able to air out outside of the accessory packet. There's exactly what I was talking about. See that darkening of it? I don't really know what that is, why it does that. Because usually chocolate will bloom, it'll get lighter in color, or it'll get a white color to it. Not this. This, it goes the other direction. It gets super dark and very weird looking. But let's see what this looks like. It's got, look at that weird spot on it on the bottom right there. Almost like it's got like a nougat filling. See that? Huh. It almost looks like somebody took their fingers and like pressed this coating around the fudge bar. Whatever this coating is. All right, let's break it open. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Ooh, that's weird. Real weird. I don't know what I assume it's some sort of bloom or something going on in there. I'm interested to see what the inside of this smells like. It doesn't really smell that bad, surprisingly. Hey, Dan just came in with a super chat. I can kind of see that. My bad. I was doing nephew duties. Sorry I'm late. Well, thank you for popping in and sending a super chat, Dan. Holy cow, man. Appreciate you, man. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up or down, folks. And then I don't know what it matters, but I guess you can hit that stupid little heart thing down there, whatever that is, if you want to. But you know what? This is kind of encouraging. I figured it would stink to high heaven. When I break it open, I figured it would get worse. And it's really not. Yeah, I don't like this. Whatever's going on in there, but I can easily just kind of take that off there if I have to. But I'm going to try it all together as a whole. It doesn't smell that bad. No way. There's nothing wrong with this. Usually it'll coat my mouth with like that greasy coating. And I think probably 99 out of 100 of these that I've ever tried set my tongue on fire, make my throat go numb, make my tongue go numb. Not this one. It's a little bit weird. The ascorbic acid has changed a little bit, but it's actually enjoyable to eat. It's sweet. The inside's kind of crumbly. Kind of reminds you a little bit of like a cosmic brownie, except like a tighter pressed kind of chocolate. You know, those cosmic brownies. I can't believe that I'm eating this. I've legit never had one this good. I'm shocked. See, if these had gone bad due to bad storage conditions, which we know that Gabe had, they'd seen a little bit of heat over the past 4 or 5 years, however long he's had them, in the storage unit in the summers up in Wisconsin. I'd say summertime in the storage unit up there probably get what, maybe, I mean, it could get 100 degrees in the storage unit. I could see that. I mean, I cannot believe how palatable that thing is. It does have that slightly off flavoring of the sorbitol going bad. But there's no weird side effects. No numbing, no burning. It's still sweet. A lot of times that sweetness will kind of go away. This is an interesting experience. It's kind of shocking. That weird darkness on there is kind of concerning a little bit. I don't really know what that is, but I'm gonna eat some of that and see what there I can see. Taste anything weird or. The coating on the outside is kind of waxy. You can see, let's get that light blooming going on there. Bit my tongue. This is impressive, really it is. This is one of those things that always goes bad. I'm telling you. These things never survive. Like, hardly ever. I've only seen a few of them that were edible. And this one's fully edible. And I think this is probably the only one in that whole case, too. And there won't be one in that other case. Yep. Well, who knows what's even in that other case. The menus are all mixed up like this. 2 thumbs up on that. Kaylin, I got this sitting here for you. I know I ain't gonna be able to mail this out for another week or a week and a half, but I will get it mailed to you with some other stuff. I got to find you another tuna too. I would say 2 thumbs up on the whole thing, because the only thing that went bad, it was because of bad packaging practices. It wasn't because of, just it being old or, bad storage conditions. So this is a win. Gabe, these things are in really decent shape, man. 90s or 100s. Yeah, but see where they're in the storage units, and I feel like they kind of hold in some of that residual morning cold. It gets colder throughout the night there. I'm going to say it probably gets, in the summertime, probably gets at least down in the 60s. So it'll probably stay pretty cool in there until maybe like noon, 1 o'clock. And then by like 5 or 6 o'clock, it's cooling down. By 10 o'clock, it's cooled back down. So it might see like 4, 5, 6 hours at most of it being heated up inside inside your unit. And then depending on where your unit is, maybe it stays a little cooler since there's, the other sheds on the other sides of it. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like these do not seem like MREs that have been exposed to long periods of heat, because I have had some, I still have like a couple that Fireman Food sent me. He lives in California, and he was a firefighter, and he was given these meals back in the 90s, or maybe it was early 2000s. I can't remember what he said. I think it was early 2000s. He was given some MREs, some brown bags. I think they were 91s and 92s. And he had tried a couple of them, and he's like, I don't want anything to do with them anymore. So he sent them to me. And he kept them in his attic in California. And he said it would get like 120, 130 up there in their hot season. And then it would get super, super cold some nights sometimes. But he said it was hot up there a lot. And I'll tell you, those have probably been some of the worst stored MREs, or most heat-stressed MREs that I've ever experienced. And I think I've only got 1 or 2 of those left. I've tried to kind of sprinkle them in here and there. But, yeah, they've been kind of special to go through, interesting to go through, just because I know that he had them for like 15, 20 years. It might have been like over 20 years that he had them. And I know that the times that he had them, they were stored horribly in like super hot conditions. So it's fun to know the backstory behind the rations. Man, I hope you don't get called. But yeah, if you can get an Israeli MRE, I have a feeling those are probably a little hard to get your hands on right now. But yeah, I hope that's not the case. Don't forget some more tuna and some more tuna. Yeah. Yeah, the Minotaurs are kind of ridiculous. Those rations are... I do want a can of that... wow. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I haven't said this word out loud in a long time. Because halva. I want a can of that halva. They get these huge cans of halva in the Minotaurs that are so good. Believe it or not, I actually want to eat this. Like, that's unusual for, like, even... I can't believe I want to eat this. I have this sneaking suspicion that I'm going to have some kind of, like, gut-wrenching stomach ache later, I probably should stop eating it. It just tastes so almost perfectly normal. That sorbitol is just slightly off. I bet that was pretty decent when they were fresh and new. I mean, it's pretty decent right now, so I have to imagine it being substantially better than this one. It had to be pretty decent. Man, if you can get a can of that halva. Oh, yeah, man. When I went to New York, there was a place in the Chelsea Market. We went and Google owns Chelsea Market now. I actually shot some videos and stuff there. I never did upload them. But I did shoot some videos there. I was watching them a couple weeks ago on in my old footage. But I took my son in there, and they had, I don't know if that's all he sold was halva, but he had like, I'm going to say like 30, maybe 40 different kinds in loaves all the way down through there. And you cut you a section off and try that. Yeah, the point, and let's be honest, like the civilian version of anything that you ever get out of a ration, unless it's like Skittles or Starburst or something like that, which I don't know why I said Starburst, or M&Ms or Skittles, M&Ms. Is that all I'm thinking of? Anyways, unless it's something like that, something along those lines, or a brand name candy bar like Reese's Pieces, or like in the Canadian rations, the Coffee Crisp or something like that. The military version's always going to be different than what you can get in the civilian market. Sometimes it doesn't make sense why it is, because it's something that seems the same, but it'll always be different. The military versions, honestly, are usually better. Not always, but usually when it comes to an item that you would seek out, that you would want, it's because the military version's better. Just like this hot cocoa. You can't buy any. I went through a lot of different varieties. Heck, I think I got some sitting right here. I just bought this to try it, to see kind of how it was. It's the Starbucks stuff. And then I got, this is just the classic. Right there. Smooth velvety cocoa with rich chocolate notes. It sucks. It ain't got nothing on that cup of hot cocoa right there. And I mean, it ain't got nothing on it. If you could recreate that exact formula, I feel like you could probably make a fortune on that and the coffee. If you could recreate them exactly. And which I don't know if you could recreate the vintage aspect of it. Man, I wanted to crack open one of those packs of smokes, but after looking through them, I don't know which ones to try, because I think there's quite a few of them that are wood blocks, at least 3 of them, 4 of them maybe, that are wood blocks on the inside. Let's do... I'm just going to do a Pall Mall. I'm just going to do a Pall Mall from like 13 to 14 years ago. It's insane that this pack of cigarettes even exists. Truly it is. Which one of these is my lucky cigarette? Yeah. Okay, so investor says you can buy the same one that's in the MRE. Okay. Sometimes that's the case. That's usually rare. Like Delicious one time, I was like, man, if you can get me any of those fruit bars, those cereal fruit bars, like the apricot, the lemon and lime, the I think they do a strawberry, the ones that have the rice paper on the outside in the Polish rations. I freaking love those things. Well, he happened to run across some, and I sent him them. I bought every one that he could get his hands on, which I think was only like 15. But I bought every one of them that he could get, and I was so happy to get those things. It took me, I spread them out over like a year. I ate them real slow, like one a month or something, just to kind of savor them. But same exact ones that were in the rations, he found somewhere. I don't know where he found them at, but he found them somewhere. And he was kind enough to keep his eye out for them, pick them up for me, and then he shipped them over to something else that I bought off of him. So I didn't like pay extra ship. Well, I mean maybe like $5 shipping on them or something added. Polish shipping ain't too awful bad if you do the long term stuff like I do. I always wait minimum 2.5 months, like maximum 4 months. I've waited 4 months before for a package to get here from Poland. So it's slow. It's snail mail to like for real. It goes on a ship. It doesn't go in the air. And then it goes by ground. I think only maybe. I don't know. I don't care. I'm never in any hurry to get anything. So I'm fine waiting. It's the difference between paying like for ground shipping on a I don't know. Let's say an 8. I think maximum's 10 kilos. So I think like an 8 kilo package would be like $30. But if I had it shipped to me to where I got it in like 2-3 weeks, it would cost me like $100. So I would just wait. I would save the $70 all day long, because if you add that 70 in, then your per ration price goes through the roof pretty high. And on top of that, like 50-50 chance you're going to get it anyway. Like you're taking a chance every time you do it. Tom Nash, that sounds familiar. Tom Nash, that sounds super familiar for some reason. Huh. Oh yeah, Investory's been around for a minute. How long have you been around Investory? Oh man, I would say on and off a couple years probably. Oh, it's because we talked about it. Maybe that's why the name's fresh in my mind. Yeah, I knew it was for John, but I read it and I thought, man, that name sounds familiar. It's because we talked about it. I'm not good with names, like names sticking in my brain. It'll sound familiar to me. You're like, man, I know I've heard that somewhere before. Yeah, Gabe, man, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's going to, from just what I experienced with this, it's going to depend on whether or not it was sealed properly. If it was sealed properly, it's probably going to be good. Like based on that fudge bar, the chocolate fudge, I'm telling you, man. Like you can if you went back through my content and found I don't know how many times they've popped up in actual live streams or videos, older videos. I would say, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 times over the past 7.5 years that I've been making actual videos. And then the other experiences I've had outside of it on camera, those ones, like as soon as I smell them, typically, like that one smelled off when I first opened the pack, just where it had built up in there. But where I let it sit there and air out, now it doesn't smell bad. I mean, it's got a little bit of that sorbitol scent to it, but I mean it's slight. It's really slight. About like it is with the flavor. It's slight enough that it doesn't bother me. Now somebody else might try that and not like it. I think I'm kind of deconditioned to the I don't know, the degradation and the negative aspects of vintage or aged food. So I'm okay with dealing with some of the bad if it's mostly good. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Hi, Dandy. Dandy. Is that how I'm supposed to say that? Dandy? Or is it Dan D? Yeah, you know what? Like, I would love for someone else to be able to try this chocolate fudge, because I'm telling you, man, they're super, super rare to find a fudge bar like that that's still edible. I mean, that thing's a solid 39 and a half years old almost, and it's about as perfect as anyone that I'd say probably still exists, unless there's some out there that have been refrigerated since, I don't know, say the 90s. If you can find some that's been refrigerated since the 80s or the 90s, maybe even the early 2000s, they might have still been okay. But if I don't know how that one's in such good shape. I mean, it does have some discoloration going on, which is also kind of weird. But man, it's in really good shape. And that grape jelly and them crackers, I'm going to finish that. It's a messy endeavor to eat jelly that's so liquefied. Like you got to take your time with it. And make sure, especially with the beard, or I'll end up having it all down through my beard. That's another good point. The creamer also, yeah. It's pretty uncommon to find the creamers in as good a shape as that one was, especially out of a first era or first generation MRE. I mean, a lot of times they've solidified or they've went off. They've gotten really yellow, and the milk, I don't know. They go bad. They're even the non-dairy ones, like, they go bad. That did say non-dairy, didn't it? I think I folded it up and put it in my back pocket or something like that. The packaging. I did. Yeah, cream substitute, dry non-dairy. Yeah, non-dairy is definitely what you want, because the stuff that still had dairy in it back in the day, when it went off, like, that was a sour stomach waiting to happen, for sure. But that one's in really good shape. I feel like I've got a pretty good community over here, John. Everybody's pretty friendly. Everybody gets along. It's a nice time. Hey, what's going on? Man, I wish you could get your account fixed. Daniel up in Alaska, still having to use that alternate account. I would almost say create like create another account with. Yeah, but then I don't know. Like, I have an alternate account that I've been using because YouTube won't allow me to comment on anything more or less anymore, because the weirdest thing's been happening, man. Been getting flagged for nothing, legit nothing, and it's just, I don't know if it's YouTube, the algorithm, someone at YouTube, or what, but I've stopped using my account to comment on stuff, that's for sure. Things falling apart on me a little bit. Going to have to do some research on some of those packs of smokes that I think or slash know actually still have smokes in them, and pair it up with one of these super vintage drinks that Gabe hooked me up with. I think the newest one was 62 that you hooked me up with, if I'm not mistaken. Or, well, might be this one, right? The shorty. It's probably the shorty, and it's 77. That's the newest one right there. 77 is not young. Ooh, it's got a lot of floaties in it, too. A lot. And I haven't even turned it over. Mm-hmm. Hang on. Yeah, this one's, it's a little bit full of stuff. That's for sure. All right, well, this has been an interesting dive into one of these 1984s, and ended up being an awesome case too. Like, now we've still got 3 ham slices, which, if they're anything like this one was, they're probably going to be in pretty good shape as long as they were sealed up right. I'm actually really surprised that everything was, that the stuff that was good was as good as it was, because I really didn't see anything on the negative side on the stuff that was properly sealed. The beans were good, the crackers obviously not, and the Four Fingers with their, I don't know what, like, I don't know what was causing that smell, or what is causing that smell slash taste. Ugh. Yeah, it's that's a weird one. That's a weird one. Yeah, that one's, they're, I don't know. Sometimes they're not full of that stuff, but I would say 9 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times maybe, that they're just plumb full of the protein, is what we've kind of come to the conclusion that we think that's building up in there, is it's kind of creating a solid protein mass, probably, that settles on the bottom when it's set for a long time, and then when we go to moving it around, it breaks up into smaller chunks, and it gets nice and chunky. And I'll tell you, like, you take a beer like that is, I don't know, it's going to have to be probably 40 plus years old, and if you don't completely finish it, and you leave just enough to cover the bottom, and then you just set it down, like I've set them on my banister right here, or the banister, mantle. I've set them on my mantle right here, and forgot about them until the next week. That little bit of fluid that you leave in the bottom of the can or the bottle will turn into this solid mass of gelatinous, tongue-like substance. Like, it turns, whatever the shape is, you know, round bottle or can, if it's got ridges in it, it'll take on that shape, and you can dump it out, and it'll stay in a solid mass, and you can actually, like, rip it. It's really strange. I've had it happen, I don't know, probably like 4 times, 3 or 4 times, that I've left them up there and forgot about them. I don't know what the deal with that is. I mean, there's a lot of, I assume, bacteria activity going on there, and all that stuff forming together and growing. I don't know. I'd love to get into the scientific aspect of this and start doing some lab tests, like someone with a lab that'd be willing to test some of these old foods and these old drinks, especially ones like that, like in this case where I'd leave something like that set. Like, what is that? What exactly is that? Is it like teeming with bacteria? What's going on there? I'd love to find out. Oh man, Tim said he bought a rack of back ribs that had a similar scent to these Four Fingers of Death that I got here. I think it's just a rancid meat smell, really. And where there's so much salt and so much preservatives in these, I feel like that's probably what's prevented them from just going completely weird and off. I mean, I wouldn't have put that in my mouth if I thought it was going to hurt me. That's why I did such a small dose of it. But yeah, I mean that really is one of those things that it's probably not. I mean, I'm sure if you were to eat all that, you would probably end up quite sick. I would only assume that. I mean, I can't prove it or guarantee it, and I'm not going to test that theory for myself. Maybe somebody else could test that theory one of these days if they're that brave, but I have no desire to find out. I just have a feeling, and based on everything that I've eaten over the years and the knowledge that I've gained over the years, like that's one of those theories you probably shouldn't test. Probably shouldn't test that one out. Yeah, yeah, kind of. I mean, it's kind of. I would say Dan D. I would say kind of. Depends on really like when you get into like the old pemmicans and stuff. Unless it's got something growing on it, you can eat it. You can eat it because there's not really anything in there that can harm you to begin with. Um, what else could we get into here? Some like the old meats and stuff that have been completely dehydrated. When you rehydrate them, you have to eat them quickly. Like you can't just leave them sit out in the air because what's going to happen is your stomach flora is going to neutralize all that growth that would happen just being out in the air. And sometimes that's the key is not messing around. It's just going ahead and getting to it because the longer it sets out, like those four fingers of death, the longer those set out of the packaging on the table right there, the worse they're going to get. So there are certain things you can eat, you can definitely taste test like those crackers, the worst crackers I've ever had by far. Well, yeah, probably by a good bit. I'm trying to think what the second worst ones. Maybe the second worst ones I had were those 64s. I can't remember exactly how those were. They came out of the survival tins, the great big I think they're 14-pound survival tins. The ones from the civil defense Cold War era, the very like almost to the day when we had the huge nuclear threat back in '64, October, as a matter of fact. I want to say it was like October 17th, 14th, or 17th. I eat a lot of vintage food. I mean I do it a lot. Well, I mean Steve does it a lot too. We do it on our own time, just because we enjoy it. And I feel like a lot of people that do stuff on YouTube, the things that you see them doing on YouTube, that's the only time that they do it is when you see them on YouTube filming a video or doing something. And it's different when you have a real passion for it. And there's some creators out there that it depends on what kind of content you're talking about. The ones that are successful typically really enjoy what they're doing because that conveys. Like, if you don't really love what you're doing, it's hard to fake it. It's hard to fake that passion and that love for whatever it is, whether it be cars or makeup or building little miniatures or there's the vast amount of interests on just online on YouTube now. I can't even imagine how big their servers have to be to store the amount of videos that they have. Like I don't know where they're storing all this stuff, which I know the technology's gotten better over the years. And let's be quite honest here, Google's been erasing a lot of content for the past 7 years. I'd say I don't think they really erased anything prior to 2017. 2016, when the first adpocalypse happened, I think they really started having a different outlook. And then in 2017, whenever they'd gotten away with all the censorship that they'd done in 2016, they realized when it happened again, when something happened again with PewDiePie, that they could really push the limits and see what, and it's been raising that bar ever since then. I feel like their limits are, at this point, there is no end point. There's no light at the end of that tunnel. It just continues on and on. It's like an endless road. Nobody sees an end to it yet. And they have immense power. Immense power. Google has and is the most powerful entity on the planet. And that has ever existed. Ever. As it is right now, as it stands. But it's really weird because it's subtle. And a lot of people don't even know it. I mean, Google owns so much already anyways. A lot of stuff that you'd never even guess that Google owns. But in particular, YouTube is the main thing that Google owns. That and the Google search, the search engine that everybody uses by default. It's by default on Apple, and it's by default on every single Android phone. Is going to, well, not every single. There's a couple guys that have made phones that have been outside of the norm that weren't all preloaded with Google, and which, I mean, Apple has to work with Google, or I don't think it could exist really. They'd have to really change their structure to be able to exist outside of using Google services. So I would like to see some changes happen in our future, but we will see. Oh yeah, yeah. They would take a loss just to store our data, and you're correct. They store every single thing that we do, and they sell it. They sell it to the highest bidder. Whoever will pay the most for user data, they get it. Whoever that may be, whether it be China, the CC, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they are. They'll sell it to them as long as they'll pay the most money. That's how that works. And they're not losing money. They ain't losing, not in these days. I don't know if Google's ever really lost money just to further their business venture. But yeah, that ain't happening today. Like they're turning profits like crazy. Just like most large corporations and companies nowadays are turning huge profits. And a lot of that you can trace directly back to the pandemic era, when just a few years ago when it started, and companies started having to use less workers, started making the products smaller, started charging more for their products. Their profit margins went from, let's just use rough round numbers, 10 to 15%, and they jumped it up to being able to get 35 to 40 to 50% profit, going from 10 to 15 to 30 to 50%. That's a huge increase. Not only that, they're also using less workers. They're doing a lot of things to up their profits and not passing any of that down to the everyday workers, to the everyday people that keep their company afloat, because I think that they're all betting on eventually not needing us people. Now, I know a lot of people say it depends on which side of the fence you're on. You either think that AI is going to be able to take everything over, AI and robots are going to be able to take everything over, or you think that they're going to try that and it's not going to work. You're always going to have the humans involved. And I kind of fall in that park. I think that they're going to try this, and I think a lot of it will work. But I think in the end, there will be a lot of negativity that comes along with it. And then I think a lot of the stuff they'll try, and it might work okay, but they're going to come to find out that it's a lot better to have people involved, and just, where I'm so into, like, my thoughts have been a lot about trying to start a company of my own as of recent. Like, one of the main reasons, not the main or the only, but one of the main reasons I would like to start a company, something, is so that I can have some good people work for me, and they can have a good life and also help me out at the same time. Like, I want that to be something that is spread throughout the company. I don't want it to be just I'm the only one making any money from this and you guys can suffer through it. Which you know, with the auto workers right now, with three big ones going on strike, when you look at their demands and they're wanting 190 bucks an hour. I mean, it's kind of hard to justify that. Let's be honest. The auto manufacturers went wrong whenever they decided that they were going to make electric vehicles because the government told them to, instead of making vehicles that their consumers wanted, that their people want. You don't see any four-door sedans, fuel economy type vehicles, gasoline, sitting on lots anymore. Like, you'll see big trucks, you'll see EVs, you'll see the stuff that makes them the most profit margin. And screw the little guy. Like, screw the average everyday consumer. You know, interest rates are up, inflation's up, cost of living is up, everybody's struggling, and they're still trying to sell the most expensive vehicles they can possibly manufacture. Yeah, you're going to end up crashing your own market. It makes no sense. Common sense is so lacking in today's world that it drives me crazy. Oh, forcing ads on PC, all for making the force sell on YouTube Premium. Oh, of course. Of course. I watched a creator that I really enjoy earlier today. And I'll be honest, like, I don't mind. I understand how YouTube works. I understand how the ads work. And I do not mind. If you've got an hour-long video, I do not mind you having 4 to 5 ad breaks in that. I'm okay with that. Even though I think 5 is like really the limit for an hour. Like, this guy. Again, I've watched him for years, and I've never had this issue with him. But he had, now this is just a guess. I only made it about halfway through, and I was about 12 ads in. Like, every time I turned around, an ad was popping up, and I was having to wait, or it was a non-skippable, and I'd have to wait to 15 or 30 seconds. And I'm like, man, this is just, it's too much. And you can comment to somebody and say, man, like, you probably should cut back on your ads a little bit. Like, I get that you want to make that money. November, December, y'all. I'm going to tell you right now, pay attention to your creators that you watch. You will notice that every single one of them is adding more ads into their video. They have control over it to add more ads into their video. And the reason that they're doing that is because it generates more income. If they add, like, say typically through the year, they'll have 3 ads in their video, or 2. Now you'll see them have a few more, 2 or 3 more, because they're getting paid the same every time those ads are running. So you're just adding up when you add those more ads in. So November and December are the highest paying 2 months of the year. Everybody's trying to push those ads. They pay more to YouTube, and YouTube pays their creators slightly more. But compared to what Google's getting from the advertisers, like, I mean, Google's making they're making a fortune just off the ad space, let alone all the other stuff that they do just with YouTube to make money. And the fact that they steal so much money from donations on live streams, that's criminal. Like, in that case right there, they're not running an ad, which that makes sense why there's money involved with that. But whenever you got somebody that, now we're using their platform, I do understand that there should be somewhat of a fee, fee for admission there. But we can do a live stream. I can turn the ability for super chats completely off, so there will be no money at all involved. Now, when you think of it that way, I'm still using their platform, and there's no way for them to make any money off this outside of running their ads on it, which they're going to do. But when you turn that off, like, I don't understand how they can justify taking the percentage that they do. I've never understood that. Because, like, how can you fight it? I have tried to go through, I think it was pretty close to back when I first started doing this like within the first year and a half or so. And maybe things have changed a lot since then. I can't remember what the name of that service was. I was trying to do it the super chat's a different way, and I was trying to do the text to speech stuff, and I mean I did make it happen, but I never could get my money that had went through that other company. Like I could never get that to pay out, so I just like it was I had to put a stop to it. Everything that anybody donated through that other way should have went back to them because I never got it. So yeah, so I just stopped doing that. I can't remember what the name of that was. It went through Twitch. Or it was had something to do with Twitch. Man, I can't remember the name of it. All right, let me look at the chat real quick, and I'm going to sign out of here. Tim, I'm with you, man. I'm not a brand new vehicle type of personality. I don't see the benefit of buying a brand new vehicle when I can buy one that's a couple years old. It's got 20 to 30,000 miles on it that's been taken care of. It's got a good service record, and I can buy it for 30 to 50% less than I can buy a brand new one, unless there's some huge changes in the model, and it's something that even then I would just wait. I would wait a couple years and get that used model. You know what I mean? Like I don't envision myself ever being that type of person who will go and buy a brand new vehicle. Now my mom is all about buying a brand new vehicle. She's been doing it now for I would say at least 20 years. I've tried to talk her out of it. I'm like, Mom, why do you do this? I want the warranty and I want this. All right, Mom, whatever. You're paying for full coverage insurance, and anything ever happens, like there's your coverage there. But I guess it protects her from like mechanical issues that she doesn't want to deal with. No, but I can give you money for it, or I can give you my Walmart card. Well, there's enough. Yeah, there's plenty of gas to get down there and back. But I mean, if you want to go put gas in it after that, I'll give you my Walmart card. Which is on? Probably like 40. I don't need that much. Well, I know, put like 25 in it. It's well above a quarter. All right. I've still got to get my car fixed. Carrier bearing went bad in my Challenger. And so this is what they're doing now with new car manufacturers. On my Challenger, the drive shaft is non-serviceable, which means that you can't take it apart and put it back together. So, I mean, I guess you could take it apart, but it won't go back together properly. So it's two drive shafts put together with a spline shaft in the center, and around that spline shaft in the center, they put a carrier bearing in it for support. And it's just basically like a piece of rubber with a U-shaped bracket with a round piece of rubber in the middle that holds the center of that drive shaft up and gives it support. Well, all the research that I was doing, there was all kinds of people online that had those carrier bearings go bad within 1,000 miles. Brand new car, literally bought it off the lot. 1,000 miles on it, and the carrier bearing went bad. Which mine's got a lot more miles on it than that. I mean, mine lasted about as long as I would expect it to. But there's no way to fix it. Here's the options. You either have a one-piece drive shaft made by a shop. Like there's a couple shops around here that can actually make me a drive shaft from scratch. Or you find a replacement out of a junkyard somewhere. And the closest one I could find was up in Akron, Ohio. I think it was Akron. Somewhere up there on the Great Lakes in Ohio. And it was going to take me almost 4 hours one way to drive there. It would have been I don't know, I'd have probably had a 10-hour round trip in it. Plus I was paying almost $600 for the drive shaft. I'd have been better off just to spend $400 more and get a one piece. Or My last option was to buy this. I guess I don't even know what you'd call it. It's like it's kind of similar to the carrier bearing, but it's in two pieces, so that I got to cut the old one off, and then I have to piece with this one together on there. Stop, Stella. But yeah, I've got to get that switched out soon, real soon. I have been seeing the same thing. I have been seeing that the bubble has either burst or it's getting ready to burst, because I've seen that prices are coming down. The only problem is there's no inventory, and you got car dealers that are still asking $5,000 to $25,000 over the sticker price, like over the MSRP. It's crazy. What are they doing? They started doing that. This is again a trickle down, or an effect of the pandemic era. They started doing that in that era. Same with other companies, charging more, growing their profit margins by more than double, and they think that they can just continue doing that, and at the same time laying people off, employing less people, in turn growing their profit margins even more. So yeah, I don't know if it's popped or not. I don't know if that bubble's popped yet or not. I think the real estate bubble is a very fragile one right now. I feel like a lot of people who have bought in the past year and a half, 2 years, at these inflated interest prices, which interest rates could go up more, and they have been up more before, but the economy wasn't as bad as it is right now. So, I don't know. And then you got all these electric vehicle ventures failing, and the windmill farms that they were supposed to do on the banks of New Jersey, and there was one in Holland. There was I don't know. There was a list of like 7 of them. They're just like, we're not going to do it. Like, they were supposed to build them, and the companies are pulling out and saying, we're not going to build them because we can't make any money with them. Like, those windmill farms are not paying for themselves. So it's a this whole climate agenda thing is it's a racket. It's a way to make money. It's a way to try to get people to spend money on something they don't need or they don't even really want. It's crazy. It's crazy because this stuff's been going on my entire life. There's been a climate crisis of some kind. Y'all remember the huge hole in the ozone layer that was going to burn us all up by the time? Oh, we should already all been dead by now. And it's not like we changed it. Like, nothing really changed that would have helped that or changed that. We're still living the same, and the populations went up, I don't know, let's say what? At least like 12% in the past 15 years, roughly. Well, I don't know, we went from, I think we only had like 4 billion people when I was born, and now we're pushing 8 billion. Oh yeah, and Kamala Harris's favorite electronic buses. Have you seen them catching on fire yet? Because it's something to see. It's an interesting watch to watch one of those things. Like, it looks like a propane tank going off or something. It's crazy. I mean, you got all them lithium batteries, I assume is what they are. It's batteries of some kind on there that are self-destructing or burning down. It's wild to watch. Oh yeah, I think civilization's been wiped out numerous times over the years. I'll tell you an interesting little fact that you can look up if you want. So, what I've seen, now this is a study that I'm just kind of that I read up on about aluminum being in the soil, and it's a certain kind of aluminum, but it's aluminum. It's metal particles that were found in the soil. And when they first started discovering this and looking at it, they thought that it was from the products that they were using from farming. So they tested the soil around, and then they expanded their search out further into some land that hadn't been farmed so heavily. and they found that the aluminum was just higher there. And this guy was like, okay, well, let's go somewhere where we know has never been farmed. So they went up to the top of a mountain somewhere. I can't remember what mountain it was, and took soil samples up there, and found just as much, or if not more, of that aluminum up there that they were finding down in the processed soil that they'd been farming. Now, for that to get up there, and those same tests had been run, I think, like 10 years prior. If I'm not mistaken, it might have been like 12 years when they'd done those tests like 10 or 12 years earlier. And this has been a long time ago now. There was zero aluminum in the soil. And now there's a toxic amount, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And they try to say that they're not spraying stuff out of every jet that flies, that those aren't chemical trails. Well, they got something in them. I'm telling you, I used to watch those jets when I was a kid, and the condensation trail that were behind jets would dissipate extremely quickly. Like, you never seen those lines across the sky. Whenever I was little, I used to watch jets all the time, so I paid attention to that. And now you'll see a jet go over, and that thing will stay. It'll linger up there legitimately all day. If there's no wind up there kicking it around, it'll linger up there all day. It'll get bigger, but it'll stay in the same place. It's not good, the way they're trying to control the weather. It's not good. And then if you think that stuff's coming out of the air, which means we're breathing it in, is our body able to process it out of it? Probably not. It's probably something that builds up inside of us. And then you got to think, okay, if there's aluminum inside of us, and we've got all these radio waves, all these microwaves around us all the time from this new technology. Heck, this right here. I mean, look into it. Nope. Do not jump up there. No. No, no, no. Come here. What happens when you put a piece of aluminum foil in the microwave? I think the same thing's going on at a lot lower scale, and I think that's part of the reason why the life expectancy has went down so much. I mean, I think I talked about this last time. I mean, my great-grandpa lived to be like 102. My great-grandpa, which I knew both of them, my great-grandpa, I can't remember what year he died. I would say I was like 6 or 7 probably, maybe 8. And then my great-grandpa died whenever I was probably, like, I might have been 16, 15, 16, somewhere along in there maybe. And then my grandpa died on his 70th birthday. Or, my great-grandpa, he was 92, 94, 96. He was 90-something. And my grandpa died on his 70th birthday. My dad died, I think, when he was 56. I think that's how old he was. Look at the progression. Like, legitimately half. Which, it's not like my dad took care of himself or anything. He did not. I haven't taken that great care of myself either. I'm trying now, though. I'm trying to catch up. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. Gray guy. Who let you in? Mom let you in? Or did you let yourself in? Green-eyed guy. Alright, hop down, buddy. I'm going to close out the live stream. Alright. A few good funky cloud videos circulating. They couldn't handle the winters. Yeah, batteries don't do well in the cold. I mean, and I have to imagine up there, Kay, when it gets extremely cold. Electric bus infernos, no burnt fuel, and reducing the population. Both of those things are good for the environment, right? According to Kamala, they are. That's exactly what she said in her little speech, wasn't it? Reducing the population. I can't remember exactly. Is that exactly what she said? I knew it was something along those lines. Yeah, she's something else. Oh yeah, the cat had to say hello. Yeah, and lithium batteries and water don't mix either. Exactly. Good point. I got bunches of kitties. Yeah, I got. I'm going to build them a little house outside that's heated and probably cooled too. All right, guys. It's been an interesting one, man. Thanks to Gabe. Link down there. He's going to have some really good videos that we done. Videos and TikToks as well. He's going to have some TikToks up. As soon as I get a link for that, I'll try to inform you guys of what he's got TikTok wise. I don't know if we filmed 2 or 3 of those, or maybe me and him just filmed 1 or 2, and then I think he filmed 1 or 2 other ones that I'm not in here in my hometown area. But they're all really good, man. I feel like we did a good job getting him some content this time, and my area is really interesting. It really is. Tons and tons of history, tons of paranormal history, tons of actual history. I guess I really should go down through the gambit and really go through and tell you guys a lot of what about this place. I learned a lot. I didn't learn a lot. I don't guess. Some of the details I did learn from Gabe, looking it up and really putting some of it together. But I knew about these things. I just never had looked at them all together as like one big thing, or not really one big thing, but just looked at it all together like that before. And there's a lot, man. There's a lot going on here. A lot of tragedy and a lot of paranormal stuff and a lot of like just crazy stuff that's happened here, especially within I don't know, what is that, maybe 3 block area, 4 block area down in Point Pleasant. But all right, guys, thanks for hanging out, watching my live stream, hanging out with me. Just want to say a huge thanks to my patrons. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. And all right, I guess all I got left to do now is say thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next live stream. Later.